Guys, before we get into this video, I want to make it clear that I really don't know what's going on the back end. I don't work for FWC, I don't represent FWC, and I'm not going to pretend to know or even say what's right or wrong inside that organization. But what I do know is there is a major upset regarding fishing license right now in the state of Florida. Let's backtrack. Prior to 2022, you could get a fishing license any shop you walked into. Any local bait and tackle, Walmart, any sporting goods shop. The ease of fishing license was abundant in Florida. So what happened in 2022? They changed their system. Before 2022, the license authority would issue equipment to anybody who wanted to sell a fishing license. There's not a lot of money in it, but it was just a convenient way to really get customers in a shop. Let's say you're visiting Pensacola, you could walk into pretty much any tackle shop, get your bait, get your tackle, and grab a license on the way out the door. One-stop shop, good to go. But they had very old, outdated equipment. They had been using the same equipment for decades. And there was a lot of problems with it, especially technical problems. When the printer or the computer that was issued to any of these authorized dealers would have some sort of malfunction, it was hard to get it fixed, it was hard to get somebody on the phone, and it got to be frustrating. So the license authority pulled all that outdated equipment and basically said, hey, we're in the age of computers. If you want to sell fishing license, you need a PC or a Mac and a printer. Most of these shops didn't have that equipment, and they didn't want to drop $1,000 on getting that equipment to make 50 cents a license. So what happened? Everybody just stopped selling fishing license. No big deal. We are in the age of the internet. 3-day license, 7-day license, yearly license, all available online. You pop in there, you create a profile, you get what license you need. There's always add-ons, so depending on what region you're in, you could add snook permits, lobster harvesting permits, or just get a regular old 3-day saltwater fishing license. And this was great for especially our tourist industry. Most of the time, no one is here more than a week. They might want to fish for 3 days, grab a 3-day license for $17 and hit the water. Easy peasy. And for us here at Panhandle Salt and others like me running a land-based surf fishing operation, this was a key component to our business. Clients walk in, they book a guide, we set a date, we set a time, we set a meeting place, and I send a link to get their 3-day or 7-day license. A 7-day would allow them to continue to fish after the trip is over. We get a lot of those clients that book a trip early in their stay, basically figure out what we're doing and where we're fishing, and then they continue on their own for the rest of their vacation. But no more! FWC has very quietly, without warning, eliminated the 3- and 7-day license online. Now you can get it in person, but no one sells fishing license. The only convenient place to get a fishing license would be Walmart. Walmarts are everywhere and they have always sold fishing and hunting license. But with these recent changes, part of Walmart's contract was if they were going to sell fishing and hunting license, they had to have someone on staff in the sporting goods section that knew how to issue those licenses at all times. Most Walmarts are 24 hours. They couldn't justify the cost of that employee to the 50 cents they're going to make on that fishing license, so Walmart pulled out. The tax collector's office is the only place you could get a fishing license right now in Perdido Key. No one sells them. I think there's one location in Pensacola, and I would assume it's pretty much like that throughout Florida, going back to the 2022 thing. So what's the option? Go down to the tax collector's office on your vacation, stand in line, waste half a day of your vacation to get a 3- or 7-day license, or you just pay for the year online because that option is still available online. You can buy a year out of state online, but not a 3- or 7-day. Makes no sense. To top it, they have made it mandatory that you get a snook and lobster permit. Guys, I've been fishing this area for a long time. I have never seen a snook or a lobster. Here on the Gulf Coast, we are envious of the sections of Florida that can catch those big snook from the beach. We watch in awe. Snook aren't here, and we damn sure don't have any lobster. But it is forced on that out-of-state angler to add those permits to their already $50 a year license, which they don't need. They are forced to add a snook and lobster permit. Yeah, what is going on with this, guys? Let's work it out. So I made some phone calls. Through the creation of the Gulf Coast Land-Based Guide Association, I started making some contacts within FWC. They have always been great. They have always been very helpful. And I formed some relationships with officers that survey this area. So that was my first phone call. They directed me to the licensing agency. They were able to pass off my information to the person I needed to talk to, and that person got back to me very quickly, within 48 hours. I expressed my concern. I was like, I need to be able to sell fishing license to my clients or I'm gonna lose a ton of business. Let's play that out. Why would I lose business? Again, we're running surf fishing trips and we run up to 4 anglers. I start getting more than 4. I feel like somebody's feelings might get hurt if it's a slow day. So I bring in a second guide and then we'll split the group. So let's say we have 6 anglers. The cost of our trips are $395 and that's total, not per person. Each one of those anglers needs a fishing license. The total comes out to around $67 once you have to add the snook and lobster. So for a $395 trip, those anglers would pay $402 for fishing license. The licenses are costing them more than the trip. That is ridiculous, guys. And I have researched for years why our clients can't fish under our license like they would with a captain. I really can't get a straight answer. I honestly believe that no one's ever even asked that question. So FWC, the license authority, they don't even know how to answer it or even where to begin. Basically, I get you need to commission the courts about that. So for 6 anglers that want to run a trip with Panhandle Salt or any other guide operation like ours, it's going to be $395 for the trip plus tip and then another $400 in licensing, which they are going to use for 4 hours tops. And now they're sitting on a year Florida out-of-state license with snook and lobster permits for the remaining 334 days that they're never going to use. Makes sense? This is going to cause some major issues, guys. In the last 5 days, I've had a half a dozen out-of-town anglers come in this shop, fingers crossed, praying that I sell fishing license. They have the deer in headlights look. We are in the process, and actually, hopefully by today, making this video, I will be authorized to sell license. So let's talk about what it costs for me to be able to sell a license. I'm $1,000 out of pocket, and I'm just getting started. I have to do a license agreement with a bond and shoot over $1,000 as like a show of good faith or something. I'll just read it to you. The license agents must provide FWC a guarantee via a surety bond in the amount of $1,000 at the time of execution of this agreement made payable to FWC. The guarantee shall be issued from a reliable surety company that is acceptable to the FWC license to do business in the state of Florida and signed by a Florida licensed resident agent. I don't even know who those people are. I don't even know where to find them. The bond shall ensure, for the benefit of FWC, full and complete performance of licensed agents' obligations under this agreement, including but not limited to licensed agents' collections, handling and transfer of funds due to FWC, and all other obligations of licensed agents under this agreement, and shall remain in full force and in effect at the times during the term of this agreement at the expense of the licensed agent. Some conditions apply as stated for the above mentioned bond. $1,000 up front. I need to buy a $200 printer. I already have a computer here, so I'm good on that. And every time we sell a license here, we get 50 cents. Once a week, FWC will stick their hand in my account and pull out the money that is owed. That's the reason everybody stopped selling licenses in 2022. Guarantee it. But they got us stuck. I have to sell license. If not, I'm going to lose half my business. What about the out-of-state anglers that are coming to Florida that aren't near Perdido Key? There's going to be some scattered shops throughout Florida, obviously, but nothing like it was back prior to 2022. So what I think is going to happen is all these out-of-state anglers are going to roll the dice and they're just going to go fishing. And I also believe this is going to happen in the guide business. These land-based guide operations are going to get a big party. They're going to tell them they need to spend $600 in licensing. They're going to back out, and that guide's going to be like, let's wait a minute. Let's roll the dice. That's going to start happening. So in reality, FWC Florida, they're going to lose money. They're going to lose money, and the fishing industry is going to go downhill. The tackle shops are going to suffer. The guides are going to suffer. Bait sales are going to suffer. You got to think, guys, especially in the summertime, we get a lot of non-anglers. People who have never fished before, but here they are, fishing capital of the world. They're watching some guys catch fish from their condo. They say, hey, maybe I want to try that out. I'm going to go buy me a little rod and ask the local tackle shop what to do and get out here and give it a go. They're going to realize they need to spend $67 on a license they don't need and say, maybe not. I believe Florida, I believe FWC is about to rack up with tickets. And this could be a money grab. This could be the reason they're doing this. Let's pull the availability of the 3 and 7 day license online, and let's beef up our officers on the water and start handing out tickets. That is one theory. I don't believe that's happening. I really don't believe that FWC is out to get us. They just want us to do the right thing. What I think personally is that it is a way to get fishing license sales back into shops. I honestly believe that was the conversation that was had in that boardroom. How do we get these shops to sell fishing license again? So that's my theory on that. The lobster and snook thing, I have no idea, guys. And I'm trying to be on FWC's side, but I cannot find a logical reason why they would force a lobster and snook permit on an out-of-state angler when there's no snook or lobster in the area. Okay, maybe the Keys, yes. Somewhere in Florida where they're catching a lot of snook and lobster, maybe they're having some issues with that. People not getting the right permit in and rolling the dice. Yeah, I see that. But here in Northwest Florida, basically Alabama, when we want lobster, we got to go to Publix. So that, who knows, guys? Was it a glitch? Were they not thinking things through? Is it a money grab? Leave some comments. Tell me what you think the whole lobster and snook mandatory licenses is all about. If you agree, disagree, whatever, let's get in the comments and hash it out. But yeah, I wanted to get in here and talk about this, guys. Let's have some conversation. Why do you think they did this? What is the purpose of forcing the lobster and snook? Are they hoping that no one gets a fishing license and they can go out there and ticket everyone? Was it a glitch in the system? Was this a way to get shops to sell license again? Or is FWC just not thinking things through? I'd love to hear what you guys have to say. I'm recording this video November 19th, 2025, and probably by the end of the day, we will be active to sell fishing license here in Perdido Key at Panhandle Salt Surf Fishing. So if you're running a trip or not, you need a 3 or 7 day fishing license while here on vacation out of state, come see me and we can take care of you. Huge upset, guys. This is not good. This is not good. Thanks for tuning in, guys. As always, thank you for the continued support here at Panhandle Salt, and we'll see you on the next one.